Welcome to Police Custody Basics, and today's topic is about meals, food and break times for a person who's in police custody. This is comparable throughout the UK. So basically within a 24-hour period, a detainee is entitled to 2 light meals plus 1 main meal during that 24 hours. And with each meal they're entitled to a drink, and they're also entitled to drinks in between meals at reasonable request. Meal times should be at recognised meal times, but there's flexibility around that, particularly if the person is being brought in just after a meal time or they've been in interview. Now the next thing to consider is the duration of interviews and when people should have breaks. So interviews should break at least every 2 hours. Slight variation and leeway is available, but a person should not be in an interview room being interviewed for like 3 hours, 4 hours. And I know certainly that was something I kept on top of as a custody sergeant, because if it keeps going on, then there's options there to say that this isn't fair or proper, and there's an argument then for excluding any evidence obtained in that interview. So as a custody sergeant, custody staff, you need to keep an eye on the time, and the interview should be wrapping up every 2 hours. Then the detainee is entitled to a 15-minute break, unless it's going to unnecessarily delay their release. So roughly the principle is 2 hours interview, 15 minutes break. Meal breaks then, the 2 light meals and the 1 main meal, that should be each one of those should be a 45-minute meal break time. And again, unless to provide that means that they're going to be detained for longer and it's unreasonably delaying their release. In relation to food, it should be adequate and take into account dietary and needs, so such as if the person is vegetarian or vegan, and likewise if the person has any medical conditions that requires certain kinds of food to be included or excluded. HCPs, so your healthcare professionals, they should be involved in relation to thinking about food as well, because especially if they're having an examination of a detainee, relevance is when did they last eat, do they need some food and or drink before they go into an interview to help decide are they fit to be interviewed. Also then about whether food can be brought into custody, and the answer is yes, it can. Relatives or friends can supply food into custody to the detainee at the discretion of the custody sergeant. So it's allowed, and if a relative or friend brings it, then the custody sergeant would need to justify why it's not being allowed in. Other things then, custody staff who are supplying and giving the food, then you need to be ensuring that it's cooked to temperature because of the risks then of contamination. So your food hygiene requirements, so all custody staff should also have food hygiene training. So that's the basics around food, meals and break times, and the various references will be in the boxes below. So that's it for today's Police Custody Basics. My name's Joanne Caffrey. Thank you very much.